right here is all of the stuff that washed up last time we had that flood. That was, like I said, 2 weeks ago. It washed all of this big timber over into here. This is some of the stuff that Mr. Leo and his crew was trying to burn. Well, it didn't burn. I'll tell you what, though. Listen, this is kind of interesting. Oh my gosh! I just realized something. I'm gonna turn this side by side. I just realized something. There was all of this stuff, all of this big timber here that did not burn while Mr. Leo and his crew were here. Now it's all washed off of the pasture I bought. This is all that I bought. And it has washed all the way across to the pasture that I did not buy. How interesting is that? So in essence, oh my gosh, that's horrible, Lester. I should be laughing about that. I'm not laughing about it. But I knew at some point I was going to have to rent something big enough to come by and move all of this. And instead, a river flood did it for me. Hey folks, Lester here, hanging out with my sweet girls, Christmas, Della, and Trixie. Friends, today we're going to take us a drive back to the back acres, the section of property here at the sanctuary that was recently flooded. We're going to check on all of our fences. A lot of times after a flood goes down, you can go by and find lots of spots that need to be patched up. So we're going to go do that. I hope you guys will want to come with us. I'm also going to talk to you about the future of the back property here at the sanctuary. Yes, the past, the present, and the future of the back property. And kind of tell you some ideas that I've been thinking about a little bit. Nothing is set in stone. Anyway, y'all join us. Chrissy could certainly use some company. And Stella, we'll get all the girls gathered up here at some point. Y'all come on down with us. This ought to be interesting. It did. A river flood moved it all for me. And so now this pasture that I bought, this 11 acres, has been cleared, literally cleared. Now there's still a few small things. Hey, isn't that weird that a river flood can push through here and move? It can move things as large as that timber, yet all these little small sticks here and there still remain. How is that even possible? And then I want to walk over here and look at something. I see a very large piece of debris. Some kind of wood has washed up alongside the fence over here. We're going to check that out. And I'm going to remind you, at some point, all of this will be beautiful grassland. At some point. Maybe we'll see what happens this spring. Hey, Moo, you big galoot. Well, there's Moo. So this is where that burn pile was at. So all of that stuff that you see over there all came from right here in this area. It just pushed it all across that far tree line over there. And then the stuff that was over on this side, it looks like has washed up along my fence. Now, this is that old fence, y'all. Don't worry. This is old fence that no one is going to claim. No one's going to brag about it. But it has to all be redone at some point. Even Jake's fencing over here is just, it's just ragged, y'all. Oh, well, actually, it looks as though Jake has already been planning a new fence. Wait a minute. Why are there holes in concrete sitting here with a string, yet I don't see anyone out here working? So it appears as though someone has come down and done some augering. They've also brought some cement out and laid it where it's going to go. Yet as of right now, there's no one over here working. Huh. That's interesting. Hey, Moo. Hi, buddy. Jake's putting a new fence up so y'all can't be climbing over. Well, so you guys, I'll tell you real fast and I'll let you go. Boy, look at this. Look at the size of that timber right there. So that was nothing that was cut. That was something that washed it from somewhere else. Look at all of this mess. Like I was saying, whenever my dad does deed all of this off, I'll come by and take all of this old fencing down. This is just ragtag. This is the worst of the worst of the worst. You never want to have this as your official fencing. This is not fencing. This is just nasty. But all this will come down, and we'll put up good fencing from that far corner, and it'll go straight back to the river. And so we will inherit that 8 acres over there. We'll put that 8 along with our 11 that we bought. Hold on, let me walk around here a little bit. I'm looking for snakes. I don't know if I should be looking for snakes or not, but I'm always scared just in case. And of course, now we have alligators. So looky here, this is interesting. So there have actually been cows over here. There have been cows walking over here, which is fine. You can't stop it. With this kind of fencing, you're not going to stop. You're not going to keep anything home with all of this. This is a mess. Oh, this is just nasty. All right, so I'm going to walk back to the side-by-side. But no, what I was saying was we take the 11 acres that we bought from Aunt Joanne, along with the 8 that my dad's going to deed off to us, combine that to the 6 that is the existing I'm a Survivor now. And there'll be a nice 20... What, Moo? No, that's Oreo. What, sir? Oreo, why are you yakking? That'll be a nice 25 acres over here. And then, so as far as the long term of this back property, Ellie and Megan seem to, as of right now, my friends, that's the key word. As of right now, they only have interest in the smaller animals, the littles. You could never put goat wiring. You could never do all of this into goat fencing, because when you have these river floods, goat fencing will catch everything. And so goat fencing will never last. Once your fence begins to catch all of that debris and water can't pass through there freely, it'll end up pushing your entire fence over. So barbed wire fencing is the only way you can fence in flood prone areas. So if Ellie and Megan doesn't want to have any larger animals to help maintain these pastures, we'll have to find something to put over here that will. Because it's going to be way too much land just to let it grow back up. If you just let it grow back up, at some point it'll become the same way it looked before. Just dense, woods, which, don't serve anyone's purpose. What is that over there? Something white has washed up over there. We're going to go have a peek at it. All right, so far in this video, we've talked about the amount of land that will eventually become I'm a Survivor Sanctuary, right at 25 acres. We've talked about the fence line over there that will have to be moved once my dad deeds that property off. We talked about the fact that it cannot be fencing for littles, because you cannot put goat wire type fencing in a floodplain. Now we're going to drive back and have a peek at the river. And while we're driving, we'll just talk briefly about what's going to happen if, in fact, Ellie and Megan do not desire to have any larger animals to graze these pastures. Jamie and I will have to move and put something over here. We kind of like the fact that Ima Jean and Donkey Dan, who are going to stay at the sanctuary, they're going to graze alongside the littles. They're going to help be little protectors, so they will not be grazing back here. But if you do not graze your property, don't forget, y'all, a lot of the reasons that hobby farmers have animals, larger animals, is because they do maintain their pastures. And so goats will eat things that cows will not. Cows eat things that goats will not. And so you kind of have to have something back here. But as far as what, here's the secret. You have to have something that doesn't need daily work, or daily work. Even though I go every single day to the J&L property to mess around with the longhorns, they don't need me to. If I wasn't able to make it, the fact that they have a trailer feeder, the buggy, and they have, grass to graze on, they have hay to eat, you really could go once a week and check up on them and be fine. And even though we are more animal type people who like to spend time with our animals, there are absolutely folks who raise cows who do not see them every single day. But that's a possibility, to maybe bring over a couple of cows to put over here. But the downfall to that is that if you have females here, you're going to always have the bulls next door pushing through your fence trying to get to them. So it's going to require a whole lot of thinking, a lot of planning, obviously some fencing to make everything happen. But and if it doesn't happen, then it's going to require coming down and spending a couple of days here this summer and mowing everything out. You'll just bring the tractor and the bush hog or the brush hog and mow all of this back down to size again. Keep it all mowed down, because what you do not want to have is all this to grow back up into a forest. I'm going to show you something interesting. So it's one thing to find a bunch of trees and limbs and things that have washed up, but come with me. Look at something else that I found that was washed up. I'm not going to walk all the way over there to it, but it looks pretty nasty up in there. But y'all see what that is, don't you? That is an old TV. I don't know how old, but look, you don't see TVs like that anymore. Now, most TVs in this day and age are all flat screen. That's one of those big old bulky suckers. They weigh a ton and it's tiny. But what one could do, I don't know this for a fact, but you'd have to make sure that you had people to help you. You come by at some point and just light this on fire. Now, it's gonna burn. It's also gonna catch all these leaves on fire and burn down through all this thicket. So you have to be over on the far back side to stop it when you do that. But now, just seeing stuff like that washed up, you don't know. I mean, really, how far away did that TV come from? Because listen, there's no reason for there to be that kind of TV anywhere back in these woods. So that thing had to have came from just miles and miles away. All right, well, this is the back side of our property. This is my access to the river from here. Now, I did not bring a key with me to open it, so we're just gonna walk it from here, and I think that we'll be able to with no problem. I love this spot down here. This is a place my Uncle Raleigh used to always bring his kids when they were growing up. They had their own little camping spot back here. They had it set up with battery and lights. It was really wonderful. And a lot of our memories from our childhood had to do with spending time with Uncle Raleigh and his family back here. I wish I'd brought that key. I could have drove. I'm not saying I'm that lazy, y'all. I just would rather driven than had to walk it. But I haven't been back here in a while. Look at that slough. Nice jump, sweetie. Nice jump, baby girl. So the bad thing about getting a lot of rain here in the next couple of days is that all of our sloughs are full. They're still, our ground is saturated, and that means that we're not going to be able to have a whole lot of place for extra water to go. My fingers are crossed that the river is low. If the river's nice and low, we're going to be fine. Well, it's not. Now, it's not out of banks, but it's higher than normal. This is that spot I was telling you about, my Uncle Raleigh's camp. Look, there's a, looky there. Yeah, he had it set up with lights. There's the plug right there. You put your battery right there, and he had an adapter that went to a car battery that would actually light up, and he would string those lights around, and it would light this entire area up. Of course, this is where they would come fish. Yeah, they've always had great access to the river from here. The river's not, this is not a pretty section of river in my opinion. I like the wide river over at Longhorn Lester's a whole lot nicer, but over there we have no access. We have no sandbar to walk to the water's edge, you know, on. You have to climb down. Over here you can get to the water easily, but getting to the water is one thing, not having a whole lot of river because it's so narrow. But nonetheless, this is the river, or at least a piece of the river we have here at I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. You know what I mean. Well, friends, I want to thank you guys for joining us on today's video. Oh, Chrissy, baby, we got to ride in Daddy's truck. Oh, Lord. Someone's going to need a bath. Not you too, Stella. That water is so brackish, nasty. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed this little drive about, walk about on the back 19 acres at I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. I'll be curious, what do y'all think we should consider doing with the back property? Remember, a couple of things you got to think about. The horses will not be here. The horses will be moving over to Longhorn Lester's. And you cannot run goats back here because you don't have goat fencing. And you can't put goat fencing because you cannot goat fence in areas that are prone to flooding. You can only run barbed wire fencing in flood areas. So it can't be goats. It can't be, no, it can't be like, you know, small, no littles. There'll be no littles back here. I'll be real curious to see what you guys think. And I want to thank y'all for watching. I'm going to lean over and climb through this gate. And we'll make ourselves back up towards the house. Come on, girls. All right, friends, we will catch you guys on the next video.
Don't let your troubles fester. Come watch Longhorn Lester.
Yeah, something like that.